Here we go. We're on. Okay, gotta let me know right away if something's not working. I haven't cranked this thing up in a couple weeks, and I'm not sure if I've got all the settings just right. Is it working? Good morning. Well, for me. Oh, how's it going? You have a lot of questions I need to answer. Eugene, how you doing? Hello, hello. You see me? So it's working, hear and see. Fantastic. That's rare. I won't tell you I spent the last 20 minutes beating this thing with a hammer trying to get it to work. It is World Cup soccer. Who's playing today? I saw France won and Russia's winning, right? Or no, they tied. Russia's tied. Hey, Matthew. How's it going, guys? Brazil. How's Brazil? I haven't heard about Brazil at all in the World Cup. What are they up to? Should probably be paying more attention. With your S on offs, yes. Well, we can talk about S on offs, obviously. I've got a sorry about the throat this morning. I don't know what's going on. I've been trying to solve the problem of the pins being soldered on the sewn offs now. So I've been tweaking a little, I don't know what you call it, a template or a jig or something that would hold the jumper wires while you push the button. So I'll show you what it looks like right now, and we'll see. We'll see if it's any good. More Brazil. I should have put Brazil. What time zone is Brazil? Probably about the same as us, I would guess. Italy. You guys are amazing. India. So cool. Does the Tasmatize sewn off work with the eWe link? No, it does not. Once you Tasmatize, you say goodbye to the eWe link. That's kind of the point. You know, if you like the eWe link, you can do a lot of good stuff with it, and it works well on its own. But if you want to use it with Home Assistant, or if you don't want to rely on their servers, then that's the reason to use Tasmota or something else. Scotland. Awesome. Got some Scottish blood in me somewhere, I'm sure. I can't get Python to work with pip command. Oh, goodness. Pedro, are you trying to do the over-the-air update then? That's been my only experience with that and Sonoffs. Netherlands, England, Chile. Amazing. Golly, man. I need to get a map and put little pins everywhere where we've got somebody watching from. That'd be really cool to figure out how to do that. And Alan, I hope I say your name right. Is it Alan or Elaine? I guess you can't really tell me, but Canada, awesome. Greece, so cool. South Africa, more Italy. Lower Alabama. Nice. Macedonia. Wait a minute. I know that name. That's a trick. No, that's a place. But I was thinking of something else. I'm thinking of Caledonia, which was like what they used to call England or something. It's what the Romans called England or something. Can you discuss more about the RCWL 0516? Woo! Does anybody know what that is? Marlon's got a question. I don't know what that is, Marlon. You have to you have to tell me what it is. Followed your video to ESP Easy Soft Sonoff Bridge. Flashing was successful, but no Wi-Fi. Open MQTT visible. I'm stuck. Dang. And did you try the different bin files? There's a few different ones. And maybe the switch, the on-off switch on the board. Make sure that's off when you flash and on after that. Alien. That's good. Okay. Alien has a lot of questions we want to try and answer. All right. San Antonio, Arizona. Nice. I lived in Mesa and Phoenix for a while. San Antonio. Let's talk Home Assistant. Let's do. Oh, wow. I didn't know you could even do that. Thanks, Lee. Cool. Okay. Let's talk Home Assistant. Let's see. Ever consider Mongoose OS? I had never even heard of Mongoose OS. You'll have to tell me about it. Toledo, Ohio. Stelios, I have. Yeah, that must be. Is that Greek? I don't know what that is. RFID, pack of 3 for $12. Do you know if I can use a keychain from one FRD for another? Yes. Do you think the keychains could only work with the RFID it came with? No, I got 3 readers, and they all came with a keychain and they all came with a card, and I only connected the one reader when I was setting it all up, and all of the keychains gave a code, and all the cards gave a code. So I know you're having trouble with another pack of cards that you bought, and I don't know what the solution is there. But yes, that 3-pack that I bought, all of the keychains worked and all the cards. Cincinnati, Indiana, Moore, Ohio. Microwave sensor. Oh, wait. Oh, maybe that's not the one I have. I got a really fancy microwave motion sensor. I saw a video about it. It looked really cool. I got some. Like a lot of things are sitting in a bin of parts that I haven't had time to get to yet. So, all right, let's switch over the stream here. Looking for Sonoff B1 brightness control MQTT tutorial. Oh, Alexander, what kind of doctor are you, Alexander? That's awesome. We have to do something to distract ourselves from the failing health of others. All right, let's see. Let's switch to a different mode. No, that one. Okay. Do a video showing your setup for, from front to end. Sonoff, Tasmoda. Sometimes seems that there are a lot of steps to get started. Yeah, there are a lot of steps to get started. Let's see what we can do. I try not to repeat things that I've done, but I definitely need to do a better job of organizing it so that it's easy to reference. And I need to make it clear, because what I've done, unfortunately, not having planned it out ahead of time, is I just made a video, and then in that video I think, okay, well, this is a good time to talk about this other topic, or to show this other little thing. And so what I've ended up with is a bunch of videos, and if you've seen them all, you got them all memorized like me, then you know where to find the different parts, where we show the setup for this or the setup for that. But they're not all in one spot. So you are absolutely right. I should do that. Asking if they are swappable. Can you check and get back to me? Yeah, Bobby, I will work on that. I'll try. Hey, there's my baby, Zipzo12. If you guys have a little girl that likes to watch gymnastics videos, my little girl makes gymnastics. Well, she makes gymnastics videos, and she makes videos about cooking and crafts and everything else. So, all right. Video about the themes and groups. Themes are cool, sure. Gosh, man, I wish I could do more videos. I tell you what, I could spend all day, every day making videos and probably still never finish all the ones that there are to do, it seems like. Have I ever run into Sonoff's overheating and turning off? That's a good question. I have had some just randomness, and it seems to be very random. I thought a lot of it was ghost switching, and I think some of it was in some cases, but I just seem to have other Sonoffs that never misbehave ever once, never in 9 months of being installed. I've never had a problem, but then others just seem to switch on and off whenever they feel like it, and I'm not quite sure. Maybe there's a quality control issue in some of them. I haven't seen overheating, but I certainly have seen if I fire too many commands at it, if I push the button too many times or something, it does take a while for it to process and catch up, and so I can get some crashes from that. I don't have access to mine where I can get them. Oh, looks cool. I'll show that, Bobby. Thanks. I don't have access to them where I can see if they're hot, most of them. But I would not be surprised if they are overheating. So if you've got access to yours, you can touch it and feel it and see it and know that it's hot, then yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a problem. Door sensors to show. Okay, let's see. Tasmota firmware on the Node MCU. You sure can. Yes, you sure can use the Tasmota firmware on the Node MCU. It's awesome. I did do the video I have about it. It says D1 Mini, but it's the same. They work the same way. The only difference is if you do the Node MCU, you have to have a different driver because it's essentially got the a specific, I don't know what to say, USB to serial adapter, or it's not really FTDI, but it's an extra little communication chip, and so you may not have the driver for that, but it's easy to install. And once you've got that driver installed, you just plug it in, and yeah, you put Tasmota on it. They work. Tasmota is really good on those things. On the D1 Mini and the Node MCU, it's really good. A lot of flexibility, a lot of cool things you can do. Okay, 2 Sonoffs that got stuck in Wi-Fi management after the upgrade. Oh, bummer. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. You should be able to reflash them. It's really hard to do anything damaging to these Sonoffs or any ESP 8266 based little board. It's really hard to do anything bad to them with software. So if you mess up, if the software's just screwed up, you can always just start over. Just wipe it, reflash it, and you'll be back to good. Oh, getting the Christmas lights done. Jan from Germany. I'm excited. I've got more Christmas light stuff I want to do. That was what started this whole thing. I wanted to put up some Christmas lights. Still have not tested ESP Easy. No, I'm bad. I'm so behind. Sonoff's been working perfectly for 2 months. Interested in finding out after 2 years if they're still working fine. Yeah. Me too. I'm not quite a year since I installed my first one. So, and honestly, those first couple that I installed, I did the front porch and the back porch and the side. We have a little side light, and they're all fantastic. Those are some of the most trouble-free Sonoffs I've dealt with. So, Sonoff Mini. Oh my goodness. Grace says hi. Hi, Gracie. Brick proof. They're pretty much brick proof. Yeah. Jury, you're right. There may be some way you can brick them, but I've done some pretty horrible things to them. And short of electrically messing them up by like putting too much voltage or shorting something inside, I haven't destroyed any with software. And I've done some dumb things. Ooh, Alexander's got 17 Sonoffs for a year and no problems. Did reflash one, and the other just started to work after 1 day. Yeah, there's gremlins. Gremlins live in the Sonoffs, definitely. So they do some weird stuff, and one day it doesn't work, and the next day it does. Can you please tell if it's possible to integrate Sonoff with a button wall switch? Can't find any reliable info. Absolutely. I've got a video. About that. Nikolai, if what you're talking about is putting a like a touch button for a wall with a Sonoff behind it, yeah, absolutely. I've done a ton of those. There's a you just connect to the extra GPIO pins, tell Tasmota where the switch is, and you should be off and running. Check through the videos that I have, and there's definitely a couple where I use push buttons. I use a lot of touch modules lately because I think they're super cool. Just modify the Sonoff Basic to control two-way lights, adding, oh, cool, Alejandro. So you used the Sonoff Basic and you added a second relay to the Sonoff Basic to make a three-way switch. That's cool. All right. Mauro, he tried to set up HASS.io yesterday on his Pi 3 Model B, and it failed. And ended it with 1.2, but it can't ping my Pi via HASS.io.local. Neither directly with the IP. Oh gosh. I don't know, Mauro. I don't know how to help you with that one. I don't know how to troubleshoot that one. It's typically pretty straightforward. When you put the image on the SD card and plug it in and turn it on. I can't always access everything through .local addresses on my network for some reason. That has something to do with my router. It's Netgear, and they've got some issues with that. But they do have, I can get to it through the IP address, so I don't know. Any chance of doing a mini Z about Dark Sky? Seems to be a lot of people on the forums with questions. I can show you what I did for Dark Sky. Broke the switch on the Sonoff Basic. Is there a way to get into flash mode by shorting anything? Yes, there is. We can do that. I feel like I'm just reading a lot of comments and I'm not showing you guys anything, so I apologize. I want to try and make this, do some teaching stuff too here. All right, so here's the Sonoff Basic, and if you look at these pins or the switch here, if I believe, and I'm sure there's plenty of people there in the chat that can tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe that these, you see those two little pins right there? Those are the two different poles of GPIO or of this switch. So if you just connect a wire from one to that, from this one to this one, that should essentially be the same as pushing down on the button. So that should help you. With the wall switch video. Yep. Thank you, Yo-Yo. How to set up motion sensors in Arduino IDE without draining the battery in hours. Oh. If you're using an ESP chip, if you're using a Wi-Fi chip, Marlon, for motion or for anything that you want on all the time, battery power doesn't work so well, especially motion. You can do it with things like opening and closing doors, because you can have the board off until the door opens, and then the board turns on and sends a message and then turns back off. So you can do that with a Wi-Fi chip because it uses more power, but it spends most of its time in the off state, and something physical turns it on. But with motion detection, because the on, it wouldn't be able to monitor for motion while it's in a sleep state or off. So if you're going to do motion detection with a Wi-Fi sensor, plugging it in is better. So if you want to do motion sensing in a way that doesn't use a plug, then go with that RF 433 megahertz battery powered sensors that we did with the RF bridge, because they'll last. Those batteries will last a long time. So Mini Zero's on D1 Mini as a standalone Wi-Fi switch, please. Okay. All right. I want to show you. Let me show you what I got here. So if you guys have been trying to flash the basics, the Sonoff Basics lately, and you have seen that they've been soldering in the pins now, I'm trying to work out a solution that would be easy to make. This is a 3D printed little jig, and it sits so that I've got my 4 jumpers in there. See it there? Got my 4 jumpers pushed through there, and it just sits right here next to this, and it kind of goes around this capacitor here and sits next to the switch, so you can with one hand hold it down and push the button while you plug in your USB adapter. So these little things, if I'm going to keep working on it, keep tweaking it and making it, so that it fits well and that it works well and so that anybody can use it. And then, man, if I could put these in envelopes, which I think I probably could, I wouldn't have a problem shipping those out if anybody needs them. Because, I mean, that's like no big deal to make. And not everybody has a 3D printer. If you have a 3D printer, I can give you the model and you can make your own. But if you need one and you don't have one, I think I could probably put that in an envelope and mail it. Any idea on the 309 megahertz devices, Paul? I have no idea. I don't know anything about 309 megahertz devices. GPIO. Any idea how to power Sonoff as a light switch in place of a wall switch, which has only the live wire, no ground? Yes. I do have. Let me see if I can. Maybe I should get a lot of questions here about things I have videos for. So let's open up a window. Whoa. All right. So if we go here, as far as doing if you only have one wire, it's only a hot wire into the switch, then most likely what you've got is the neutral is up where your lights are or wherever your lights are. And so all they've done is they ran a hot wire, switched it, and then sent it back up to the lights. So to use a Sonoff there, the safe thing to do, the best thing to do is to not put the Sonoff in the light switch box, but put it up where the lights are. So that would be in this video here. So if you check out this one, it says 3-way switch, but see, it says 2 wires in a switch box. That'll show you what to do with that one. But that's essentially the solution. The other solution is, the ESP chip is tiny. The amount of current is really tiny. And I'm not recommending it, but it would work if you just ran a tiny neutral wire to ground in that box. So ground on the board to ground in your box. You hopefully have up ground. Then that would probably work. But you'd essentially you'd be purposefully sending current to the ground system in your house. Not advisable, but it would work. If you're on a desert island and that was the only thing you could possibly do to survive, then you could do it. But if it's your house and you don't want to cause problems, don't do it. But it would work. Any tips on managing HASS.io database? Whoa, 1.8 gigabytes. Good grief. What's going on, Wayne? How do you have so much stuff? What's in there? Is it just saving like copies and backups and stuff? Is that why it's getting so big? Yeah, influx. You know what? Duncan's got the right answer. That's what I would have said. I would have said InfluxDB. I haven't used it, but I know there's an add-on for it, and that's what a lot of people use as their database solution for Home Assistant. So I would go with that. Sure, you go live while I'm at church. Sorry, Tyson. That's because I got to do it before I go to church. Oh, Paul's got some advice for you too there, Wayne. Oh, good. And Jerry says that Rob, the hookup, has a video about database size. That hasn't been a problem for me. Maybe I'm getting close to a limit and I don't know about it. I haven't looked into it at all. All right. So let's see. What should I show? Now people have asked so many questions I can't even remember. Zenzer node temp humility. I've never heard of a Zenzer node. Never heard of a Zenzer node, Jeff. Sounds cool though. Wow. It's got all that stuff on one board? Wow. Cool. Cool. See, solve the problem by attaching a 220-volt relay directly to where the light switch wire comes out from the wall. The relay then switches the GPIO on the Sonoff. Okay. Sweet. Simon's got a solution there. All right. So I have not put out videos as fast as I wanted to because I have had to work, unfortunately. And you want to see something here? I'll show you something if I can. I'm going to try and be better about not giving away too much personal information. I trust every one of you guys. But whatever, I don't want to, have some hacker stumble upon something that causes me grief. But anyway, so here we go. We're going to look at my setup for just a minute. So I've got a bunch of garbage here. I don't keep it very clean. I'm in a state of flux too much with setups. So the things are just all over the place. But I did this. Oh, look, it changed. I set up, I don't remember what it's called. I'll show you in a minute. But I set up a couple of sensors that will report an accumulation of time. So like it'll look at my device tracker and it'll say, oh, Justin's at work and now he's at home and now he's someplace else. And then I can collect just the time that I'm at work. And this is the last 7 days. But actually yesterday, this is because I had yesterday off. But yesterday it was 69 hours in the last week. And I don't want anybody to feel bad for me. I get paid to work. But that's part of the problem. That's why I haven't been able to do many videos. So anyways, but this is cool. And you can also see, but I did find time to play like 12 hours of Xbox this week. So all right, let's see. What else we got? Sensor node of the D1 twist. Oh, was it Marlon? Oh, Duncan said he likes the humor. You're in for a good one, Duncan. So I did a video that I'll post tonight, and it'll come out tomorrow morning, and it's about a robot vacuum cleaner. But I tried to make it, well, there wasn't a lot to talk about as far as the robot vacuum cleaner. So I did something else that I like to use, and that's text to speech, to type in a message and have it announced over your media players. And I put there's a lot of humor in that one. I gotta say, I was in a silly mood when I made that one. So it'll be funny. I think it's funny. All right. Let's see what else we got here. What happened to bruh? I don't know. I don't know why he stopped making videos. Maybe somebody else does. I don't know. I saw that he posted on Twitter a couple months ago, and I thought, okay, he's going to come back and make some stuff. I haven't seen anything since. The Xbox sensor is really cool, Aubrey. It's really cool. I've got a video in the works. I've got 2 more scripts written, ready to do videos if I can get some time to sit down and film. I should be able to get them out pretty soon, and that's one of them. Is how to set up that Xbox sensor. It's really cool. There's an Xbox component in Home Assistant, Xbox Live component, and then you need to go to another website and register with this guy who's got his own Xbox API website to handle requests and stuff, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty cool. You can look down here too, and you can see for the past week. Oh, there's my wife. She's watching me. Hello. She's not gonna like that I put a picture on there of her. Where did my Xbox sensor go? So here you go. So then you can look and see, when are we off and when are we online, and get a trend for a week. So that's pretty cool. I think that Xbox sensor is pretty fun. All right, let's see. Consider taking a Sonoff Basic, cutting the traces. Yeah, Mark, I'm with Simon on that one. Simon says, sounds dangerous, use a Sonoff SV. If I didn't read the entire comment, but I think I know what you're talking about. And similar to the Sonoff SB, but AC line powered. Yeah. I've seen people do it. I haven't done it myself. I've seen people do it. There's a couple places where you have to cut the solder lines, and then you have to bridge a solder line in another spot. So it's certainly doable. And I can understand why you'd want to, because yeah, it's nice to be able to just, run a 110 volt power supply to the box or to the board, and then be able to switch a relay that's, a lower voltage. So I can understand why you're doing it, or why you would want to do it. I just haven't done it. Blind automation, man, I want blind automation. Do you see, if you look at my face, it's like all bright on one side, it's all dark on the other side. It's because I've got a window right here, which is beautiful and nice, but I can't block out the light. And I really would, I have to stand up. I have to get out of my chair to pull the blinds. Not doing that. So yeah, I need to work on that too. I've got some stepper motors, and I've been watching other videos and looking at other tutorials. I've been working on a fun thing with a friend where we're taking a Nerf gun and making one of those Century turrets, where it's up and down and right and left and camera on top. So that's just a fun project that we've been working on. But it's got a lot of stepper motor control and stuff going on. That'd be fun. Let's see. Jerry says, do it. I missed what he was talking about. Far Cry, Crew 2. Oh, are we playing games? Are we Xbox? Oh, yeah. Well, there you got my gamer tag. Mostly Destiny, some Sea of Thieves. Fancy man like you needs blinds automation. Amen. Jerry, you are so right. I do not need to stand up to open the blinds. That's just ridiculous. From Las Vegas, Bosher. I grew up in Vegas. I grew up in Henderson. Basic high. Back when there was only one high school in Henderson. All right, which Xbox are we talking about? Xbox One. We have the 360 also, and the kids play it because it's nice. You can play 4 players. But Xbox One, we have 3 Xbox Ones because they won't let you play multiple players at the same time. All right, Bluetooth presence detection on the Pi 1, but I use a Z-Wave switch disables Bluetooth on the Pi. Have any videos on that? Ugh. No, but you could probably there's an ESP32 chip that has Bluetooth that you may be able to use instead of the presence detection on your Pi. That's not going to be as good a solution. I wonder about another way to use the Z-Wave. It's funny that Z-Wave disables the Bluetooth. That's a bummer. I don't know. Have you seen anything in the forums, Dave? Or that's a good question for the Discord chat. I know you guys have all seen. You guys probably all, because you guys are the faithful because you're here on a Sunday. But there's a the Discord chat is really great place to get a hold of really smart people to have to get help with things that are giving you troubles. And then the thing about doing it with the Discord chat, there's always tons of people on. I mean, I don't think I've ever looked at the roster when there wasn't 400 people online, connected. And so you can ping specific people by doing an @ and their name if you know that they're on, but they might not be active in the chat at that moment. That gets their attention. They get a little bing on their phone or their desktop, and then they'll be able to jump into the chat. But generally, if you go in and ask a question, if you don't get an answer, just try again in an hour, 2 hours, or the next day, because you're going to get different people, different times that are in there chatting. But man, that's my first place to go. I go there before I go to the forums, because the forums are great and there's a lot of good, you can go through and see how somebody solved a problem. But if you just want live help, Discord is the way to go. I'm in there a lot, and I try and answer, when somebody asks me a question, but I certainly go in there to get my own questions. So, okay, Bobby, heading out to watch soccer. Good luck, man. Good luck. So the MQTT gateway. One of the things I spent a lot of time yesterday doing other stuff instead of working on this, but I want to do Tasmota on that RFID, or on the RF bridge. Sorry, on the RF bridge, and I think we'll have a better result. And I think I know what to do. I think I know what was stumping me with the payload and parsing out the right data and all that. It's really nice saying, when I can go out and say, hey, I don't know how to solve this. And I post a video and say, I don't know how to solve it. And bang, I got dozen responses on, hey, just do it like this. So I think I got that figured out. And I really want to do that again with the RF bridge and Tasmota, because I'm still having MQTT gateway problems too. The dang thing keeps going into AP mode and it won't reconnect to my network for some reason. So the touch switch is turning on and off. Al, I know you told me how to pronounce it. Sorry. What do you mean it's going on and off? So you have the touch module, the capacitive touch module, and it's just activating on its own. Oh, you know what? Those can get pretty sensitive. And they can be activated by, like, you don't have to even touch nearby. Even like something like a piece of wood sometimes has enough charge stored in it. I've seen them just activate when I touched it on a piece of wood, not even with my finger. So what you have it set up against, or what's around it, needs to be really, I don't know if inert's the right word, but really void of any conduction at all. So very plastic, rubber, those kinds of things. Because if you have anything around it that even a little bit could be holding some kind of a charge, it could activate. So like I said, I've had it activate with a piece of wood. Crazy, but it did. All right. Do you know if the Sonoff Basic Flash with Tasmota is capable of dimming a dumb bulb or a smart light bulb? No. The only way you can dim anything with Tasmota is if you're using like the B1 bulb. You can do it with the B1 or those kinds of smart bulbs, but it will not dim a dumb bulb. You have to have a special dimmer for that. I have a dimmer. I have a dimmer board that it would only work with incandescent bulbs, and I should be able to run it from the Sonoff. So this dimmer board needs to get a signal from the AC line that says I'm crossing 0, right? So that you're positive and then you're negative, and you're positive and you're negative on the AC. Every time it crosses 0, the dimmer board shuts off the light for a fraction of a second. And that's what you can adjust, is how long that fraction of a second is that it shuts off the light. And so it should work to dim an incandescent bulb. It won't work for an LED bulb, but it should work for that. I just haven't had time to get to it. Sorry. My sensors. I went and set up my sensors. I went onto the website and set up my sensors, but I haven't done anything else with it. All right. Is your gateway close to your router? That's what happened for me. As I moved it away, it reconnects without a problem. Oh, my gateway is not very close to my router, actually. So you moved it away and it got better? As I moved it away, it reconnects without a problem. Yeah. I think what it is we had a couple different bin files that had a little bit different arrangements. I think the one that I used finally is the one that didn't default back to try and find your network. And I should probably just switch it. Grease Monkey script, Firefox. Well, that sounds awesome. So somebody asked about the B1 dimming. So let me pull that up because I want to give some help too today. I love just chatting. If you guys are happy just chatting, I'm happy just chatting. But I feel an obligation to help. Give some information as well. So let me see if I can pull up my config and look at how we did the B1 dimming. It's going to be where? Here and here. There it is. Okay. I don't want to take the survey. Okay. So I can't remember now who was asking about the B1 and how you set it up, but there it is. And this is what you do for dimming. You're chatting, we're just typing and listening. Yeah, the B1's not super bright. The B1 is not super bright. It's kind of a mood light. You're not going to light up a room with it. I do have another one that I still haven't flashed that looks like it has more of the white LEDs on it. So I think it's going to be brighter. But it's definitely not going to be very easy to flash. Hello, Dawson. That's my boy. One of my boys. Not a fan of the World Cup then? Me? I am. We're not in it, and there's a lot of funny commercials out there about us rooting for Mexico. And, I root for England and Mexico and heck, anybody. I just like watching a good game. If I installed pull down resistor, would that fix the problem? You could try it. Do I know any alternatives to the B1? Yeah, for sure. There is I think where I have the link. In fact, just about any smart bulb that's Wi-Fi is going to be based on the 8266 or the 8285. And then you'll be able to flash it. Russia beat Spain. Did they beat them, Alexander? Did they finally win? Let me grab the bulb. All right. So this bulb is not the B1. Yeah, this one's not the B1, and it's going to be a bit tricky to flash, but it's supposed to be brighter. I found a post, a blog post of a guy who compared the B1 with he was calling it the AI light, and then there was another that was the AI thinker, I think was what it was called. And I went and tried to find the AI thinker and the AI light. And what's happened, I believe, is that they've just been rebranded and sold to a bunch of different brands. So that's why you can go to pretty much any, you go to Banggood or go to AliExpress or something and look for Wi-Fi lights. I wouldn't pay more than about $15 for one of these Wi-Fi lights, and because they're all about the same, and the ones that are that price are just fine, and they can all be flashed. It's got the same. There it is. Is that it? Right there. It's got the same chip that we're using for the Sonoffs and everything else. So you can flash it, and the pins are labeled. They're just tiny around the border there. You'll definitely have to solder, tiny little jumpers on there to be able to get it to flash. But for sure, I bought that with all the intention of doing a quick video to flash it, and it just takes too much time. Let's see. Xiaomi bulbs are great. Have you tested them? I haven't tested anything by them yet. I should. I should probably do a little bit more like non-hacked stuff. Like there's very, very few things that I have that are not Tasmota or something else. Like I don't just buy like a GE bulb and plug it in and connect it to Home Assistant. I just haven't done it hardly at all. If I have some things like maybe cameras or media players, Google, things like that. But everything else, it's all been flashed, Sonoff or otherwise. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys are chatting, figuring it out. Just purchased a Philips Hue bridge and some bulbs for lighting. Does anyone know how well Home Assistant works with the Hue? I think Home Assistant works perfectly with the Hue. I don't know for sure, but I believe they do. Yeah, there you go. Well, not the emulated Hue bridge, but here you go, Philips Hue. So here's all so if you've got the Discovery component installed, which you probably do, it should just pop up. It'll probably already be there when you restart Home Assistant. But if not, here's a bunch of stuff you can do with it. So yeah, those kinds of. So one of the things about Home Assistant, and that's why I said I should probably do more things like this, like use a branded, non-hacked device. I'd probably have I don't know. I think maybe I'd have less troubleshooting to do. Maybe not, but you definitely, Home Assistant supports anybody that will open their API and allow us to get in there and draw the information and put it in a different format like Home Assistant. Man, they're cranking them out. I mean, there are over 1,100 different components. If you look at this list of components, it works with everything. So yeah, I'm not surprised that they've got a Philips Hue thing ready to go. Making a jig. You know what? I started, Mark. I did that. I tried, and I probably have. Well, I think I threw them away. Maybe I talked about it in my B1 bulb video. Actually, in the B1 bulb video, I talked about it because I spent a lot of time trying to make a jig, And I think if you're going to flash a lot of things, and it's probably the right idea, but look at that's a very flattering picture. Let's see. If you go to this video right here, I spent a lot of time trying to make a jig for the B1, and I was close, and I had it, and I was tweaking it a little bit, and then print another one, tweak it a little bit. And then after a while, I was like, man, I've spent like 3 hours trying to make this jig. And then in about 3 minutes, I just soldered on a couple of wires onto the GPIO pins, and bang. So maybe if I would have, well, the soldering skills are fantastic. So the time the time it spent practicing soldering to get good at it, to where you can do a 0.5 millimeter little solder point, is totally worth it. Totally worth it. All right. What are the best components? I don't know. Let's open the discussion. What are the best components? If you wanted to buy something and not have to hack into it, what are some of the best components? Which ones do you like, Alian? Are you looking for lights? Are you looking for switches? Are you looking for plugs? Are you looking for cameras? Like which? And then maybe we can get some opinions from people who have used a lot of things. Like I said, I haven't used a lot of things. All I've done is hack Sonoffs. So, all right. How can I flash a smart Wi-Fi plug that are sealed? The ones that you have to download the app to be able to control it. Charlie, nothing is really sealed. Probably. Because they had to close it up somehow. Maybe they glued it. So you might have to get along a seam and crack it open. Or depending on, what brand are you talking about, Charlie? Is that a Sonoff, or is that something else? If it's a Sonoff and it's newer, you might be able to use the OTA again, the over-the-air method, because as I understand it, that's working again. And I've got where's my US? I've got this buddy here. This is my US Sonoff Touch or T1 3-gang switch, which I'm really excited about. And I'm going to flash this over the air just to test the over the air flashing. One of the things that was going to be tough for flashing the over there, that's going to be hard for me to demonstrate with the over the air flashing, is I don't know about the Python setup, because I did it and I don't think it's changed, but that means it's already going to be ready to go on my machine. And that was, I remember being hung up on that a little bit. So when you go to try and do the over-the-air flashing with Sonata, getting Python, all the right parts in all the right places and getting it to work was tricky. So I'm going to have a hard time re-demonstrating that, since I've already installed it. I'd have to have a blank slate to be able to show people who haven't already set it up. There you go. How do you say that? Jomi? I wish I could say that right. But the Jomi window sensors and door sensors work with Home Assistant and are very cheap. There you go. If you go in here, let's see. Nice, spell it. There you go. Look at all that stuff. I should buy some of their stuff, shouldn't I? Maybe I'll do that. I got it from Amazon rebrand smart plugs. Yeah, if it's sorry, I had dry throat this morning. If it's not a Sonoff, then I don't know if you can flash it without somehow breaking open the box. You got to somehow break open the box, get in there, make contact with the chip, and it might not even be, it might not be the same Wi-Fi chip. It probably is the same Wi-Fi chip, so you can use Tasmota or all these other different softwares with it, but it might not be. There are others that wouldn't work. But all right, recommendations for door locks. If I was actually going to lock my front door with something, I don't know. I know that they just added support for these Kiwi locks, which are supposed to be pretty good. And I don't know. I've heard about Nuki also. but I don't know. You know, the only locks, I don't have locks on my front door that are smart, because I just can't handle spending $250 on a lock. And I feel like we live in a reasonably safe place. I do like my magnetic locks, and as a backup, like if I just want something to make sure that my door's not just wide open at night, I would just put one of those magnetic locks with a Sonoff SV. And that way, you know, as long as the door is closed and I just want to lock it with something that's reasonably secure, then I would use those magnetic locks. And if you didn't see, when I say those magnetic locks, this is what I'm talking about. I did this video here about the smart locks with a magnet. These ones are better than these. These have a very specific use. You have to put them in as the strike plate, and that's not as good. This I was very happy with. I still use it all the time. I use this one all the time, and I like it. And it holds well enough. And it's only, I can't remember now what it cost, $20 or something like that, maybe less. There's one VCC pin. Yes, Ali, and I'm glad you asked that question because I was going to go answer. I saw you ask that on the YouTube comments. Also, you can connect more than one switch. You can connect more than one touch module to the VCC pin. So it's just giving, the VCC is just giving out a straight 3 volts, and it doesn't matter if you give it to 2 or 3 or 4 different devices or touch modules. So what you need is just the unique output. You can even use the same ground. So you can use the same VCC and the same ground, just as long as the output from the touch module is going to the right input on the board. That brings up another thing. So a lot of people have asked about the touch modules and whether they get some kind of a signal. My nose is all stuffy, guys. I'm sorry. Whether they get some kind of a signal to turn them off. And I don't know. Like, I don't think they do, but I've seen them turn off. Like, if you go back to, was it the dashboard video or this? I think it was the dashboard video where I was demonstrating, let's back here somewhere. Close these stupid ads. Okay. No, that's not it. No, maybe that wasn't it. Anyways, I did one where we looked at where I was in the bathroom and I had the touch module and the tablet or whatever, and I was turning it on and off at the tablet and at the light switch, and the light on the switch would sometimes go off when I turned the light on the tablet, but then other times it doesn't. So I don't know. I wish I could say. It shouldn't. Based on the circuitry of the little touch module, it should not actually turn back off on its own. But sometimes it does. So I don't know. Sorry. Is there a milliamp limit to the 3.3 volt pins? Yes, there is. But it's going to be reasonably high. I mean, those little touch modules don't take a lot. That's what I would do. The other thing you could do if you were concerned about that is that there's probably going to be someplace else on the board where you can draw 3.3 volts. I know on the basic, there's more than one spot. You know, these pins back here by the relay, there's another 3 volt. There's another 3 volt spot back here, but those 3 volt pins should be able to get all of the current supplied. I guess it's not probably the right way to say it, by the power supply. So one of them, connecting a whole bunch of things to one of them would be the same as connecting several different things to several different 3 volt pins. They shouldn't be any different. It's not the same as the GPIO pins. You know, with those 3 volt pins, you should be able to connect multiple things. Now, Lovelace video. You guys want to check out the Lovelace thing? You guys want to do a couple minutes of that, and then I'll probably got to go in about 5 or 10 minutes. So let's check out the Lovelace thing because I have been tinkering with it, and it is pretty dang cool. So if I go here, and there I have revealed everything again. Let's go over here. There's a Lovelace. It's actually pretty cool, and I've been pretty happy with what I've been able to do with it so far. I've only spent like one day kind of tinkering with it. Okay. So here's what I have, and there's there's me. This one though, right now this is showing an image from my camera, and unfortunately you can't use the image from your camera yet as the switch. But this is my office, and it says I'm home. I can turn, oh, these will turn on my crazy Christmas lights. I can turn on, which one's this? Oh, my crown molding lights. You see the change in the lights? Yeah, you can see that. Turn those on and off there. This is that office light. This is some black lights I have on the wall for the kids that we play around with. My fan, and the fan on and off. And then what's this one? Oh, this is my lock. Listen. Oh, you can't hear it, but oh, it's because the door's not closed. Anyway, so this is that magnetic lock on the office. So pretty cool that you can do those, and it's not that hard. This was the nice thing about the Lovelace is let's open my Lovelace config file. The nice thing about Lovelace, it makes a ton of sense. It makes a ton of sense because what they've done is right now we've got the configuration file. And in that configuration file, you have to put in all your components and you define your entities and everything. And you have to define how it's all laid out and how it looks. Or you know, maybe there's the groups.yaml file as well, but a lot of it, like what's hidden and what shows up and what the name of it is and what the type of component it is, you do a lot of that right now in the configuration file. And what they're doing, the way they're heading with Lovelace, and it's probably not the last thing that they'll do or the last way that it'll end up, they're branching that. They're separating those two. So you'll have one configuration file where you've got all your components defined. And then you'll have the other, which will be just the user interface definitions. And the best part is you can change the user definition, the user interface stuff in Lovelace and not have to restart, not have to redo, reboot Home Assistant, and not mess up your rest of your configurations. So it's really, man, they're heading in the right direction with this thing for sure. So it's pretty cool. Let me see if I can pull up, my Lovelace real quick, and we can look at what I did so far. There it is. So all you do, you make this file, and I just copied their example to start with, but you make this UI lovelace.yaml and you just put it in with the rest of your stuff. And then you can just start tweaking and customizing it. I can't see what you guys are seeing. So what I've done is I've got a couple of, so this is the solarized theme. So just for this page, just for this office page right here, I set the theme to solarized. But on my other pages, that theme's not there. So that's pretty cool. You can have just specific themes for specific tabs up here. I love that you can have icons instead of names for the tab. So down here, the icon for Home Assistant is for this one. And then this, for this one that's cameras, the icon is the camera. So that's cool. This is what I tried to do. This is how I got that picture of the camera. Unfortunately, what I want, if I do it like this, it's going to draw this picture from my mountain room camera. That's this thing. Oh, now it doesn't even want to show me. Great. Anyways, getting this to show a picture was tricky for me. Eventually, I had to. What I want is for this one to be, so I click on it, and instead of doing that, it turns it on and off. And so to do that, I'd have to, if I change this, if I just copy this and paste it over this, I think it'll do that. And then I can just save this. And then I can just refresh. And it's gone. Nothing like doing stuff live, right? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, Lovelace has there's some really, really great potential there for sure. So, a couple of things that I did just to show you back to this office thing. So what I set up here, I've got, let's see, one card. That's this examples card. So I put all these things here. I just grabbed them. and then they show up here, and I can click them on and off right here. So this is like all that stuff that you do with groups and all that. You just do it right here real quick. It's super easy and super simple. And then when you wanted to do like this one was really cool. This one's dynamic, meaning these are all the switches in the house that are on. And if I turn one off, it disappears off the list. So if you just wanted to look at something and say, okay, what light switches are on in the house and turn them off real quick, bang, right there. And all it takes to do that is just this kind of, it's this entry right here. It's an entity filter, and the filter is any switch that is in the state on will be displayed. Bingo. And then this is just the title I put on it. How cool is that? So yes, I want to do more of a tutorial on it. I think I'm going to give them another version or two to maybe tweak some things. I think this camera thing has got great potential, but it needs a little bit of work. But yeah, if I can find some time, I'll definitely do one soon. But whether I do it soon or later, I will do it for sure. So I am way behind on the chat now. You guys are way ahead of me. I'm glad you're helping me. Would love to see a Lovelace banner full width card. Oh, good question. Yeah, I don't know. How do they scale those? They don't, do they? Not until they get small. Huh. I'll look into it. I know that there's now a Lovelace. Where was it? Is it on the GitHub? There's a big chat going on about all the Lovelace stuff. And I think it's on GitHub. I'd have to check again. All right. Jose says, if your garage door is randomly opening on Wi-Fi disconnects or router restarts, remove the 1-second automation from Home Assistant and instead use the pulse time 110 through Tasmota console. Thank you, Jose. Yes, yes, yes. Can you connect an NVR? Tell me what an NVR is. I don't know. How can I send you a couple smart plugs so I can check them out? Send me an email and I'll send you my address and you can send them. The email's easy. You can either my name, which is no secret, is justinaden@gmail.com, or I've got, because I got the website, I set up an email address. It's just justin@DrZzs.com. So send me an email, an email, and I'll give you my address, and you can send me whatever you like. All right. Add www. There is an IP camera, FPR for $20. Yeah, there's a cool little camera that's nice and cheap that I don't know. Oh, network video recorder. Oh, yes, you can. The way to do it though, you can't really do that you can't do it very well with a Raspberry Pi. So what the solutions that I've seen people use are, there are two that people use. One is Blue Iris. Blue Iris, there's a little bit of a price associated with it, but it's not bad. I think it's like $60 and you buy the software. So what this does is, this you have to run on a different computer. And if I'm understanding what you're trying to do, maybe there's other solutions, but this is, if you wanted to take a bunch of cameras, put them all in one place, and then have that centralized location, do things like recording and motion detection and specify different zones and a lot of that stuff. You do all that horsepower work on a different computer using something like Blue Iris. And then you can then connect those camera images back to Home Assistant, where it's just all Home Assistant is doing then, all your Pi is doing, your Raspberry Pi, is just grabbing those images from the IP address from Blue Iris and bringing them in so you can see them there. But all of the back end work is happening on Blue Iris. There's also another another free version. What is it called? You guys remember what it's called? It's not Blue Iris. There's another one. Oh, can't think of it right now. There's a free one. There's a free version as well, but it's a lot more technical and a lot less beginner friendly. So for me, I was going to go with Blue Iris. Is it iSpy? Is it iSpy? Maybe it's iSpy. I'm a little scared to type iSpy into my. Oh, is it iSpy? Oh yeah, there you go. iSpy versus Blue Iris. So that must be the one I was. Oh, ZoneMinder. Nope, it's ZoneMinder. So ZoneMinder was the other one that that is the free version. So I hadn't heard of iSpy, I guess, but ZoneMinder is the other one that I have had people tell me is good. And the difference with ZoneMinder's free, but ZoneMinder takes a lot more, like anything that's sort of open and, geared towards the techies, which I guess is us. But there's a lot more setup and tweaking involved. It's a little bit more, I wouldn't say less user-friendly, but I guess, your wife, somebody would probably have a harder time using it. All right. ZoneMinder. Yep. Blue Iris is the best you will get. You know what? With Blue Iris, I think it was only like $60 or something. It wasn't very expensive for what it does. And I haven't taken the plunge yet, but this is what I would go with for me. See, full version $60. I mean, that's a decent. For what it can do, that's pretty cheap, I think. I mean, I was afraid they were going to say, $30 a month or some ridiculous thing like Adobe. So, but I haven't checked out iSpy. So we got several people saying go for iSpy. So, is that EBNT NVR? UBNT cams. Oh, okay. Don't know that one. Sonoff version 1 doesn't have holes for the pins. If by saying it doesn't have holes, you mean they're soldered over, or you don't see them? I don't know what the V1 is. Is that the one that's just the relay? Just a relay on a board kind of thing, Nicholas? The pins are always there because they have to flash it in the factory, and they flash it the same way we do. Just they do have a machine and they pump them through, but the pins are always there. So it's just a matter of finding them. And if they're not holes, if they're solder points, then yeah, that makes it a little trickier. You might have to solder wires onto those points, or you might have to grow a third arm or get somebody to help you so that you can hold your jumper wires onto the solder points while you plug in the USB device. They're soldered over, yeah. So use male jumpers. Use male jumpers that just stick out like that. And then this thing isn't going to help you, but so use the male jumpers like this. And then you'll have to, tape them together or something. And then you'll have to just hold them. You'll have to just hold them down like this onto whatever pins, whatever contact points. And then if you don't have a third arm, have somebody help you. Grab somebody to have them plug in your USB connector while you're holding those down or something. This thing, if you guys missed it at the beginning, so this little guy here is something I'm trying to design to bypass the need for to solve the same problem that they've now given us on the Sonoff Basics, that they have the solder points or the pins are soldered over. So now this is be just a little jig that you put on your Sonoff Basic, and it will let you line up the pins, line up the jumpers with the pins, and then let you, with just one hand, hold the board and push the button like that. So anyways, this is just a 3D part that I made to try and do that. So that's something new that we're going to have to deal with. So yeah, try growing a third arm. But if you can hold the pins, if you can hold the jumpers onto the pins, the contact points, and hold the button. Well, I don't know if this version 1 has a button, but if you can hold the button and then let somebody else just come and plug in your USB adapter to your computer, because that part doesn't take much. They can still do that. Sean, yeah, I'll give you the STL. It's on. Yeah, I can share it with everybody in the universe. I don't mind. I use Onshape, and you can just search, because it's this right here. So if you go to Onshape and you search for And if you search for Sonoff B Flash tool, this is it. And then if you want to export, you just have to right click, export, and you can save it as an STL. I can also probably upload it maybe to the website or something to make it easy to get to, or Thingiverse. Once I'm happiest with it, I'll upload it to Thingiverse. But I'll do that soon, so you don't have to. It's easier to put the pins in upside down on the Sonoff. Yeah, it probably is. You're probably right. Probably right. Yeah, go to the bottom. I've certainly soldered wires on the bottom because it's easier than soldering them on the top. Hi, Dawson. All right. Poked holes and heated up. Yeah, and you can ruin things. You know, I've you know what I've done? I was really surprised. I had a wire soldered onto one of these pins, and then I decided, oh, okay, I don't want that there, and so I just pulled it off, and I just yanked it, right? I just grabbed it and just went, just pulled it, and what I ended up doing was I pulled this whole, like I pulled up part of the board, and I pulled up the whole copper tracing underneath, and the board was done. Like it wouldn't do anything after that. So yeah, you can definitely, while we said you can't ruin these things with software, you can definitely ruin them with a soldering iron in a lot of different ways. USB food switch. I don't know what that is, but it sounds yummy. I'm hungry. This group is used to, yep, Shoop. You got it right. Shoop says, yeah, Blue Iris is awesome. He's been using it for years. Very powerful, but there's some complexity. So, but if we wanted it easy, we'd all just buy Connect 4 systems or something, right? We're not here because we want, I mean, we do want things to work, but we want the adventure of figuring it out. And that's why we're here. You know, that's why I do what I do. That's why you guys watch what I do. And, you know, all of us have the same attitude about that, and it's fantastic. It's awesome. We're making the world an awesome, funner, better place. How hard would it be to design a blank wall plate? You know, Eugene, it's not hard. I've thought about doing a little bit of tutorial on this, but if you want to get started, I would recommend Onshape. It's a website. It's web-based. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your, you know, any computer. And then they have YouTube tutorials that will show you how to do the basics. It's really the way it works out. The way it works for the most part is you just draw a sketch, okay? And I'm going to draw a sketch on this plane. So you pick a plane, and now you've got a 2D sketch. So we're going to make a circle here, and we're going to add something else to it like this, maybe. I don't know. I'm just doing some nonsense. And then what you do is you extrude it. And now it makes a 3D model. Okay. And then you can do things like contour the edges. Oh, this one can't because I messed it up. But anyways, the rest of this is all about just, you know, tweaking this model to make it different and do all the right shapes. So, but what it comes down to, I'm going to get rid of this part. What it comes down to when you're designing something like this is it's just a bunch. If you look at what I did to make this part, it's a sketch like this. Like, look, I actually used, you look at this, I actually used the schematic. I don't get, this isn't a schematic, but I used the PCB printout drawing that you can get from Sonoff. It's on their website. So I used that, and I was like, okay, well, all the components, these are the pins that I want. This is the capacitor that's right here. This is the touch button. And so it had all these dark blue lines, or light blue lines were already there, and these green parts are the solder points. So I knew right how to line everything up. So you do that, and then you just extrude that, which extrude, you know, you make it grow. And then I just did some different, and then you can do an extrude that's negative also. You subtract things away. So you draw a circle and you subtract it out. So if you haven't done it before, just start playing with it, and it'll take a little time to learn how to do it, but you'll get it, and it's fun. Simple yes, no to asking if Control 4, can we do what we're ultimately able to do, or would the feature be fairly similar? I'm trying to see what, Darian, I'm trying to decide what you're asking, but it's I think the end point for all of these home automation systems is the same. Like if somebody comes to your house and they don't know what system you have, and you can tell your lights to turn on and off on a voice command. If you have timers that run different things in your house, like your sprinklers, if you have your garage doors turning on and off, music playing when you want it to, you're able to track who's home and who's not, unlock doors, all those things, those endpoints, they're all the same, regardless of whether you have, Connect 4 or Home Assistant or OpenHab or Vivint or anybody else. Getting there is, you can, if you had thousands and thousands of dollars, you could just call up the Connect 4 people and they could come out to your house, and for $15,000 or $20,000, they would do some amazing stuff. And all you could just sit back and let it happen. So part of this is none of us want to spend $15,000 on that. The other thing, I was talking to one of the surgeons that I work with, and she had has a Connect 4 system at her house, and it has problems. And I was like, oh, well, that's good to hear, because our free system has problems occasionally, right? Things don't always go the way you want them to. You can't figure out why something works or doesn't work sometimes. And the automatic thought is, well, what if I just bought a system that is supposed to do that out of the box? Would it then do it? And the answer is not always. They still have glitches. Probably not as many, but they still have glitches. So, yeah, there's systems out there. They all try and get to the same endpoint. We're the only ones that know what's going on under the hood in our house, for the most part, right? All right. What else? Hey, Dawson. How's it going, buddy? All right. I should probably get going. I got to get a lesson ready still. Anyone know how to hook an external LED to control the TXRX LED on Nano IR? I don't. I do not. Is it as versatile as Home Assistant or OpenHab, etc.? No. Well, versatile in, can you personally customize it? No. They're gonna do most of it for you. You'll have to tell them, I want it to do this or that, and then they'll do it. I think if you look at this, well, I shouldn't say, because maybe I don't know, but in my mind at least, the spectrum of customizability, you've got things like Home Assistant and OpenHab, and even, you could use Node Red in this way too, as by itself, and Dominits, and there's a few of these that are totally customizable, and then you've got things that are less customizable, but maybe a little bit, like you've got the Samsung Smart Things and maybe Wink, something like that, and then you've got the things where you're pretty much hands off. You're calling somebody, they're coming in and doing it all for you, and that's your Vivint and your Control 4 and maybe some others that I don't know about. I'm never going to go any further this side of. I have a Smart Things. I've never even turned it on. So, can I say something about using maps? Maps have been tricky for me. Let me see if I can pull up a map. When you say maps, you mean like locations where people are, where your family is and things like that? I'll show you my map. The map has come and gone for me on Home Assistant. Sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not there. So I used it for a while. Yeah, see, look, it's like it's not even there. There used to be a thing over here that showed me a map. It doesn't anymore. If I click on this, no. Yeah. I need to get back into figuring out. There was a back in probably 0.65 or something like that of Home Assistant. There was a maps deal that showed up, and my location trackers, all my people showed up where they were on a map. I don't know. Maybe I've changed something and that's why it's not showing up on mine, but it's not there. Hola, Portugal. You're not missing much on smart things. Don't go backwards. Thanks, Travis. Yeah, I think you've told me that before. I think you're probably the reason why I haven't ever even turned it on, because we were talking about it, and yeah, I got that advice. So it was like, don't even bother, just skip it. And I bet it was you. Do you think it should go with HAS.io or installing HAS on a NAS server with Docker? Well, Bashar, it depends on you, buddy. Me, I don't know. I'm not able to start installing things in their own Docker compartments on their own and stuff. I'm just, I've goofed around with Linux for years, but I don't know it well enough to be able to do that and to not cause myself a whole lot of work. So, for me, and I think for a lot of the non-programmers out there that still want to do this stuff, just dabble, HAS.io is the way to go. And the Home Assistant guys are really working hard to make HAS.io command line free. Like I haven't had to SSH or command line into anything in my Home Assistant Pi in months and months. So, all right, I'm going to let the kids in, and I can hear them here. So they want to come in and sign off.
Hi.
This is Dawson.
This is Dawson.
And here they come. Oh my goodness, we got a whole herd of them. The camera's over here, guys.
Oh.
This is Holly. Say hi. And Zoe and Grace. You'll get to see them in the next video too.
Oh.
Yes,
There's not me.
There's a little video. I wonder if I should. No.
Oh.
I'll be posting the video for tomorrow pretty soon. And you'll get to see some fun stuff from then. So, anything else? Thanks for showing up, guys. I don't know what the count got to. I don't know how many
like
people.
112.
112. Man, that's fantastic. So, I will be more consistent. Hold me to this. More Sundays we'll do this, and we'll switch the times up because I know there's a lot of people that want to see this that can't get on at this time. So we'll do this time, and then we'll do a 5 p.m. For me, like alternate weeks or something like that, and we'll see. So, thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.
Till next time. Adios.
Adios. Thanks, guys. Take care. See you later.